Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create resources on AWS platform. Today's video is about infrastructure as code on AWS platform using Terraform. So here is the scenario. Um, I will be creating a new virtual private cloud, which is a virtual network, and you can have different subnets in that virtual network. In my case, the uh, the region I'm working on has like three availability zones. So um, I will be creating one subnet per availability zone. Okay, as you can see here, and I will be creating a public subnet, meaning every subnet has access to the internet. For that reason, I need to create an internet gateway resource. This resource will allow the internet to access the subnet to access the internet. Also, we need to tell the subnet which route to take to access the internet. So that's where the route table comes into the picture, and we will add routes inside the route table, and we will associate the route table to each subnet. That way the subnet will know which way to take to go to have access to the internet. And on every subnet I will be installing one instance, EC2 instance. Okay, so one is EC2 instance per subnet, and I will also install an Apache web server on every EC2 instance. So as you may know, the Apache server runs on port 80. So I need to allow EC2 instance to receive, to accept inbound traffic on port 80. That's where the security group comes into the picture. Okay, and then we have here users that need to access the application running on EC2, but instead of just using directly the public IP of the EC2 instance, we will be using a load balancer. Okay, a classic load balancer that will distribute traffic between these three instances. Okay, so for the user, they will need just the DNS name of the elastic load balancer. Okay, and for the user perspective, there will be no change because they will see exactly the same thing, the same application, but behind the scene, the load balancer will be distributing traffic between these three instances. Okay, that's it for the scenario. Just very quick. I can show you very quickly. I don't have any instances in my AWS account. I have one key pair that will be used for the EC2, and I have one security group. Then we will create a new one. We will have then two. Okay, load balancer, no load balancer, as we can see. Also, if we can check the VPCs, for the VPC, I just have one VPC. As you can see, this is the default one, because when you create a new account, it comes with a default VPC, and the VPC have 3 subnets, one round table, and internet gateway. Okay, just to show you, let's go back now to Terraform. Okay, we have 4 files here. The main one, where we have all the resources that will be created, and here the bootstrap is just this is where we will be installing the Apache server. So as you can see, it's a CentOS operating system. Then we use Yum as package manager, and for CentOS, Apache is called HTTPD instead of Apache 2. Okay, then we will start and enable, and then here we just customize our index web page, page. Okay, instead of just using the Apache default web page, we will be using this customized web page. This is just one big string, and I'm just breaking the string into small strings, and then I can concatenate here. Okay, but it's just one string here. All right, what else I can show you? Oh, here for the output, it's always a good practice, instead of putting everything in the same file, to do it in a different file. Okay, and I will just output the AMI ID of that I will be using for the EC2 instances, and also I can output the public IPs of the 3 EC2 instances, and then I will output the DNS name of the load balancer. Okay, because I need the load this DNS to access my application. Remember, we have our users here that need to access the application running on these EC2 instances via the load balancer. Okay, let's go back, and here we have our variables. Also, instead of just hard coding everything, it's always a good practice to use variables. And also, instead of just putting variables in the same file, it will be too long. It's a good practice to put in a new file called variables.tf. Okay, we have the name of the internet gateway, the name of the security gateway, the name of the key, the EC2 type, the name of the elastic load balancer, and so on and so on. We have the name of the subnets. We have the availability zones as well, the subnet blocks, and we have the VPC block and the VPC name. Okay, let's go back here. And first thing is to choose your provider. In my case here, I'm using AWS platform. Then the provider will be AWS provider, and here you need to give or to provide the credential for your provider, because you need you need to authenticate. Okay, to connect to make Terraform connect to your account. So you need to give some potential here, and instead of, I'm gonna show you, instead of hard coding here, you see, instead of hard coding, it's not a good practice. The good practice is to provide those credentials as environment variables. So you have to write this export for, and then you provide your access key, and you tap on the terminal, the same with the secret access key, and also for the region. I already did it. Okay, done. And after that, the first command is to type Terraform init. When you put Terraform init, then it will generate this folder and this file. Okay, that's it. Now, the first thing here, I'm grabbing the most recent AMI. So I'm gonna show you just quickly. Let's go here. EC2, then launch EC2. Okay, you see when you create a new EC2, you have to provide the name here, and you have to choose. You have to choose your AMI. These are the AMI that you can choose. For example, you see here is the Amazon image, which is Amazon Linux 2 AMI, and so on. And you can use also Ubuntu, and you have Ubuntu server, and so on and so on. Okay, you have to choose the instance. Then normally, if for example, if you choose this one, the image is this one. Okay, instead of just hard coding, because sometimes there are some they update, they can do some updates, and this number is no more valid. So if you keep on using the same script or the same code, then you will have some issues. So it's a good practice just to do it automatically. Okay. I'm gonna show you something. Emails category. Owner alias. Okay, for example, here you just have all AMI for Amazon, and yes, you have any of them. So that's what we will be using here. I need the most recent one. The owner is Amazon. So what we have seen, here we can put the account ID, or you can also put the owner alias, which is here Amazon. Okay, and then we can filter by the name. This is just for Amazon. 2 here is for Linux and AMI, and this is for the type of virtualization type. Okay, and you can do the same for Ubuntu. If you want to use Ubuntu, for example, we can tap dash Ubuntu Jamii 22.004 dash 64 server star. So if we use this one, okay, and it will choose an AMI for Ubuntu operating system instead of CentOS. In this case, it will choose CentOS. Okay, and if you choose Ubuntu, make sure to change here. Okay, the package manager will be apt, and here for the package, it won't be HTTPD anymore, but Apache 2 for Ubuntu operating system. The rest will remain the same. Okay, then I'm grabbing here my AMI. So for the Amazon image machine image, and then I will be using it later for the EC2. Then I will create a new VPC. So what I need is just to give a name and to give the block. The block is here. This is the block. This is the name, VPC Terraform. Okay. After that, I need to create 3 subnets. One subnet for per availability zone. Okay, instead of here creating 3 resource blocks, I'm just using one block and I'm looping. So then I need a count. Have a list of subnet blocks, so I use the length here. It gives me 3 because I have 3 blocks. Okay, as you can see, for the subnet block we have 3 blocks. Okay, so the count here will be 3, and then I need to provide the VPC ID where I need to create the subnet. In the VPC, in this VPC I have just created above, I give the VPC, and then I provide here the subnets blocks. Okay, the count is 3, so it will start from 0 to 2. So 0, it will take this block. 1, it will take this block. 3, it will take 2, it will take this block. Same thing with the availability zone and with also the subnet name. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. And then for this line, we are just making the subnet, those subnet public, so they can get a public IP. If we don't provide this, because by default it false, then it will be a private subnet. So in this subnet, all the instances will have just a private IP, but will not have a public IP. That's why we make this true, because we need to have a public subnet. And then we need to create an internet gateway. So we give the VPC ID that we just created above. Okay, and then we give also the name, and after that create a route in the default table pointing all traffic to the internet. Okay, here instead of creating a new route, okay, we just use the default route table that was created when we create, that will be created with alongside with the VPC. So when you create a new VPC, it always comes with a default route table. Then we use that default route table, and we add a new route that point all traffic to the internet. This is all traffic. We are pointing all traffic to the internet gateway we just created. Okay, this is the internet gateway. What is the internet gateway? This one. Okay. Okay. After adding this new route to the default route table that comes alongside with the VPC, then we can associate the route table to each subnet. Again, here we are looping because we have 3 subnets, so we are looping. Okay, we need to give a subnet ID, and this is the route table. Okay, and we need to associate that route table with each subnet. Okay, as we have 3 subnet, it will loop. Okay, for the first, for index dot, for in count dot index equal to 0, it will be the first subnet, and for 1 it will be the second, for 2 it will be the third. So because AWS subnet dot my subnet, it's a list of subnets, so we need to give the position, the index, and then we have a subnet, then we can give the ID. Okay, and after that we need again the same thing. Instead of creating a brand new security group, we are just using the default one that comes with the VPC. So when we create a VPC, a new VPC, it always comes alongside with a default security group and a default route table. Okay, then what we are doing here, we are just adding some rules to that default security group that will be created with alongside with the VPC. Okay, so we provide the VPC, and we allow inbound traffic on port 80 because Apache server runs on 80, port 80. Also, we are allowing inbound traffic on port 22 just in case we need to SSH. Okay, and these are outbound traffic. We allow all outbound traffic. Okay, and we give the name of the security group. For the EC2 instance, then what do we need? As we see here, the AMI, we are providing just the AMI we just grabbed with the data dot AWS AMI dot myimage dot ID. This is the first one here. Okay, data AWS AMI my image. That's what we are doing. Here. Okay, then we need to provide a key for the EC2 instance, and I'm just giving the key here that already exists in my account. If you don't have one, you can create the key, this one. Okay, it already exists in my account AWS. Then the instance tab is G2 micro, but I'm using the variables I have here. The tab is G2 micro. Okay, and I'm giving the security group, just the security group I have just created here. Okay, AWS default security group default. Okay, then here I'm providing the user data as a file. Okay, go to this folder and take this bootstrap.sh, and that's where we are installing our Apache, and we are customizing the index. Instead of just a default Apache web page, it will be our own customized web page. Okay, and also here, okay, we are creating an EC2 instance for every subnet. So we will loop because we have 3 subnets. So for each one of them, we will create an EC2 instance. Okay, and then we give a name for everyone. So it will be web server, because when we use the index, it always start from 0. So I'm adding +1 to have web server 1, web server 2, and web server 3. And then I need to create then a load balancer. Okay, I give the name here, and I need to give the subnets. I'm giving the list of all subnets ID. For subnet in AWS subnet, my subnet, I am choosing the subnet ID, okay, for every subnet here, because this is a list of subnet. For the security group, I'm just giving the same. For the instances, I'm just doing the same as here. I don't have one instance, but I have 3 instances, because I'm looping here, as you can see. Count in here, it will give us 3. So then I'm giving here for every in this index here, I will have a subnet ID. So I will have then 3 instances, and for every instance I will grab the ID, and then for the load balancer, we need a listener that will listen. Okay, it will listen to the instance port, which is 80, because Apache runs on port 80, and the protocol is HTTP. Then for the I will redirect, or I will bound map to the load balancer, and here I can change if I want, but I prefer to keep the same. So for the load balancer, I will keep also 80, port 80, and the protocol is HTTP. Okay, so that's all. Now we can run. We already initialize. Then we can run Terraform format, and then we can use Terraform validate to see if everything is okay. Okay, success. And then we can now plan Terraform plan. It will show us everything that need to be created. Okay, as you can see, 14 to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. And okay, you see, for example, for the AMI, we already have, because it's not creating, it just grab the information. So we have, for example, this AMI. And for the DNS load balancer DNS, we don't know yet, because he has to create first. Also for the public IP of the EC2 instances, we need to create those instances first, then it will show them here. Okay, now what we have to do is we need to apply. Okay, apply, and auto approve, so we don't have to tap yes. Okay, auto approve. Okay, okay, it's creating. And right, Terraform has completed. So as you can see, the 4 resources have been created, And we have here the AMI ID that has been outputted, and we have also the DNS name for the load balancer. So we can use this to access the application. And here are the three public IP addresses for the EC2 instances. Okay, so yeah, so we have everything has been created. Started with the VPC and the internet gateway, and then the subnets, and then the security group, and so on and so on. Okay, so first of all, let's check if our application is running by using this DNS name for the load balancer. Okay, copy. Okay, paste. Boom. So we have our application that is running. As you can see here, this is the subnet, the second subnet. As you can see, this block is the subnet, the second subnet block. Let me remind you here. As you can see here, we have the first subnet, 10.0.1, and the second subnet, 10.0.2, and the third. So, and if we reload, okay, the same. If we load again, here you see is the first one. So the load balancer, elastic load balancer is distributing, you know, he's distributing the traffic between these three instances. Okay, let's try to see if they're gonna choose the third one. Okay, let's see, we have the third one here. Okay, everything is working. So let's go and check here. Before we had no instances, but if we had 0 load balancer, we had just one key security group. But if we reload, okay, you see we have here one balancer, load balancer, and we have 2 security groups now, and we have our 3 instances that are running. Okay, let's check. Okay, these are the 3 EC2 instances. So web server 1, web server 2, and web server 3 that are running. Okay, we can also check the load balancer. Load balancer here. Okay, we have our Terraform Elastic load balancer that is here. Okay. What else can we check? Let's go and check the VPC. Okay, before we had just one VPC, the default one, and now we have 2. Subnet we have 6. As you can see, route tables we have 2 now, and the internet gateways we have 2 always. So we can check for the VPC. We have all right, this is the VPC we just created, VPC Terraform. It's this one. And for the subnet, let's check for the subnet. Okay, these are the subnets that we have just added, you know, these 3 subnets. And as you can see, it depends on the VPC we have just created, and with this block 10, 10, 10. Okay. For the route tables, okay, these are this is the route table we have just created with the new VPC and associated to these three subnet. Okay, associated subnet, we have these three subnet associated to this route, and also we can check, yes, this is the local route, and this is the route that we just added, that is pointing all traffic to the internet gateway, as you can see, so that the subnet have a way to access internet. Okay, and what else? So this is it. So in this video, I have then showed you how to create resources on AWS platform, and the scenario was just to install an Apache web server, an Apache server on EC2 instances, but just instead of just using one EC2 instance, I use 3 instances, and I use a load balancer to distribute traffic between these 3 instances. Okay, I have created the instances on different subnets. Okay, and every subnet is located on a different availability zone. Okay, the region I'm working on has 3 availability zones, so I have created a subnet, 1 subnet per availability zone, and everything is inside a virtual private cloud, which is a virtual network. Okay, this is the bootstrap script we use to install Apache server. Recall that Apache server is called HTTPD for CentOS operating system, and we have started and enabled it. Okay, and this is the message that is appearing. We have just customized our indexed page. You see, this is the message. As you can see here, the name is my app, and I have Amazon EC2 Apache app. Congratulations, Apache server running on EC2. And this is just the host name, the long format of the host name, so which is like the private DNS for every EC2 instances. Okay, and here I'm just putting in bold the IP, because as you can see here, and the IP, the private IP is on bold. Okay, yeah, that is what I wanted to share with you. Don't hesitate if you have any question. If you have learned something, please like the video. If you have any question, don't hesitate, drop a comment below, and yeah, I will definitely answer if there is a question. Yeah, so thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.